And we are live. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chaos. Welcome to a new episode of Take It to the Table, hosted by Wrestling Republic, as you know. We got a star-studded show right here. We've got not one, not two, but three guests on the show. Starting off, let's start with the usual regular guest, which is Soul. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show, Soul.
Oh,
How you doing?
very well. Always good to be here. And well, let's get this off to a good one, eh?
Of course, of course, of course. And to the bottom right, we've got also a regular contributor on the Wrestling Republic uh, platform. He also does another show with Mex. But yeah, he's decided to come and invade our show. He probably realizes this show's a bit better. But yeah, it's all good. Welcome to the show, Ignacio. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. Excited to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course, anytime. And of course, we've got none other than the head honcho, the Vince McMahon of Wrestling Republic. We have got to my right is none other than Ben. What's up, Ben? Welcome to the show, Ben, for the first time.
Yes, it's great to be here. Finally, coming to the table. Should be a good show, unlike the Royal Rumble was last night, but we'll get into that.
Oh, okay. So it's been proven to be pretty divisive, shall we say, of the that's been happening. A lot of people saying it was all right. Some people saying it's a bit messed up. But of course, we're going to be going through the card, going into each match as we always do, and give our own individual overall rating of the pay-per-view. So this is going to be a very interesting talk. Without further ado, let's take it to the table. Alrighty then. Okay, so the pay-per-view has been and gone.
Oh, is that probably the British weather right now? Because we are in the middle of a fucking windstorm right now.
It's not. It's actually decent weather in London.
Oh, look at you, Southerners. Northern is like goddamn hell.
You guys there? What's happening?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, cool. Don't know what happened there. Yeah, so what's everyone's should I say everyone's general consensus of the Royal Rumble was below average? Like what's the first word that comes to your mind when you think of the Royal Rumble 2022?
So the first thing that comes to my mind is that it was a very good card, right? It was one of the best Royal Rumble cards in recent history.
It's terrible.
Which I think.
Okay, then maybe not. Don't go into detail. Terrible.
I thought it was a good card, right? I looked at it and I was like, it's got a lot of potential. And pretty much every match on the card was a letdown. But Roman Reigns versus Seth, I guess, could be the exception, right? Even though that, I'm going to be honest, it was a great match, a fantastic match they had. But I still think I expected that to be better just because the high hopes you get off Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns nowadays. But that was still great. Right? I'm not complaining about that much. But everything else was just a complete letdown. There was a lot of surprises in the Women's Royal Rumble, which I'm sure we'll get into. But the Men's Royal Rumble, there was nothing in. The other title matches were just plagued with shit. And obviously the fire ruined the Becky Lynch Dewdrop match, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Yeah.
As
well. Oh man, the immense heat and energy of that match blew up WrestleMania itself. How could you deny such a great match? That it's like basically like what 4D, like 3D, moving the chairs. Now they're just sending the heat out to the sign. Immersive entertainment.
I think
very
immersive.
That
on Instagram, Ben.
Oh yeah, shut yourself off.
Oh. We tried.
Wow. I'm just So everyone's obviously been pretty divisive on that. I'm gonna just run off some of the comments on here. Carl has said himself that this was the worst Rumble in a very, very long time. He also went on to say that Seth versus Roman was a good letdown with a terrible finish. But like I said, we're gonna go into all the matches. Like I said, it's been pretty divisive, more negative than positive, I'd say. What about your thoughts, Ignacio? What was your thoughts on the Rumble pay-per-view as a whole?
Absolutely. Well, as probably as the senior fan at a very first wrestling match I ever saw, was a 1989 Royal Rumble. And I can just say this is the worst Royal Rumble in a very, very long time.
Oof.
I mean, you can tell where WWE is at. They're kind of like in a state of limbo. It's like
I think we're having some connection issues here.
where to go. They're thinking, what do we do in the now? What can we do now to put a good card together? And they're not thinking about the future. The winners of the Royal Rumble, who came out winning the Royal Rumble, the finishes for the title matches, they're very, very much in a state of limbo and don't exactly know what they're doing.
That's it. That's WWE's main issue. Then
Yeah.
now and forever pretty much just means now and is forever, pretty much.
Pretty much. It's definitely more prominent than ever that they just really, the fact that two timers have won one of their biggest matches on the card, it just shows that they have just no faith, or they just can't be bothered to make new stars, even though that's going against their initiative that they're doing with NXT and the nil program or initiative that they're looking to do. I agree, it was definitely underwhelming, especially the men's rumble. What I see that so you say, so people are saying that this was worse than the 2015 rumble. Would you all agree with that, or is, because that's quite a high level to beat the 2015 rumble?
I don't think it was as bad as that.
No, I wouldn't have said that either.
Ignacio, what about you? Would you think it's worse than the 2015 rumble?
I think he's stunned in shock.
I think there was some connection. Yeah, he's got some connection issues there, but I wouldn't. This Rumble had some good.
Where they want to go,
right?
they were kind of just.
Oh.
Sorry. 1 second. They've decided to take. Hold on 1 second. Ooh, is this it? Is this the right way? No. 1 second. Got it. You're gonna be back in. There we go.
Hey, we're back.
Yeah, sorry. Please repeat what you said, Ignacio, please. Sorry, there was a bit of connection issues.
Well, it's definitely one of the worst rumbles in a very long time. Like I was saying, there's definitely some storytelling issues that they're having there as far as where they want to build their storylines going into WrestleMania, going into the biggest event of the year. It wasn't, like Ben was saying, it wasn't a bad card on paper. They had the dream match with Bobby Lashley and with Brock Lesnar that everybody wanted for a long time. But you can have a good match on paper. You can have a match that everybody wants to see, and in itself, it can be a good match. But if the finish is shit, that's all you're gonna remember. And that's what it was. It had a terrible finish. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns had a terrible finish. The Royal Rumble matches themselves had lazy, terrible finishes, okay storytelling finishes. That's not going to keep your fan base. It's not going to build your fan base. It's not going to keep your fan base. It's not going to keep the smart marks happy. All they're going to do is go online and trash the show to do, because this was a terrible show. It was an F show, very lazy booking, not much, very predictable. So that night one of WrestleMania is probably going to be main evented by Ronda Rousey, which I'm not a big fan of bidding in the industry, probably with Becky Lynch. And now we know night 2 is going to be a triple threat, absolutely, between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. That's going to come our way. So very predictable, not very good storytelling, lazy finishes, lazy booking with promoters, producers, and so forth that aren't looking to build towards the future. Much like, and I hate to bring them up, I know this is a Royal Rumble show, but much like AEW is doing with building their stars.
Oh, he says that begrudgingly, but yeah, fair enough.
Agree to that statement, my friend. I agree.
So, but regarding the triple threat, do you think WWE would actually go with a triple threat again with Roman Reigns twice in a row? Because I thought it was going to be either Roman versus Brock or Roman versus Drew McIntyre. So you think they would do it again?
Well, this is the thing, is confusing. What was the purpose of them? Roman got COVID before the day one pay-per-view. What was the purpose of them going around putting Paul Heyman back with Brock Lesnar. That should have. I know to continue the story with Roman and Brock, but that kind of just broke everything up. It just didn't make any sense where they went into the Royal Rumble. Now Heyman's back with Roman just to screw over Lesnar. Why? Roman was supposed to be kind of played against the chicken shit heel. It's just confusing. They don't know where they're at, where they're going. They just know we got to get to Roman and Brock somehow.
Yeah.
When they didn't need to do that. It doesn't make sense. At this point, it doesn't make sense.
No.
Yeah.
Come again?
They don't. WWE don't have to plan things.
At this point, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make sense. And so they want to give Drew McIntyre his big WrestleMania moment because he got beat by Lashley last year, which I think was the best decision. And then, of course, the year before they had COVID kick in. So it just seemed like Vince McMahon is still high on Drew McIntyre. Why? I don't know. I think he's Lex Luger of 1993. I think his jets have been cooled. I don't think he's as hot a star as he was before. Maybe in the UK. Definitely not here in the States. I don't think he's as hot a star as he was 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. Johnny come lately, of course, too late. And I just think having a triple threat main event, first of all, is bullshit. And I'll tell you why. Because they don't know how to do it right. First of all, you're supposed to do it like an elimination style kind of match, and they don't do that, right? Somebody has to go over, of course, but somebody doesn't get beat. There's always a guy that doesn't get pinned, that gets submitted or whatever. So it's a shit show of a fucking main event for WrestleMania coming up. I absolutely think so. I don't think, and I'm going to WrestleMania, but I'm not. That's why I only got a ticket for night 1 and not 2 because the product right now is crap.
Save your money, cut your losses.
Fair enough. Okay, so let me just quickly run off some of the comments that's been said on here. So Tyler Miller says Roman Reigns has had two back-to-back great matches at the Rumble, only for each match to have terrible finishes. I'm not sure what you said. 2 great back-to-back great matches. I'm not sure, unless you meant from last year, maybe. I don't know. But fair enough. I agree. This is the worst than the 2015 because it was just boring. Okay, that's a quite bold statement. Me personally, I don't think it was as bad as 2015. There was still some decent qualities out of it. Some decisions didn't make sense, but that's fair enough. And then Carl also goes on to says, "P off. Drew is a great man." Fair enough.
Drew is a national hero in Scotland, and you do not insult the Lord and Savior.
No, is that right?
I do. Oh yes. There was, literally, when Drew won it in 2019 the Rumble, I was in a bar in Glasgow, and it was like, I don't know, we beat the English in the war or something like that. It was like, praise be, the best moment. It was amazing. We were all pissed, drunk, and we were just like, yes, we're united. We lost the referendum, and now we have a united front again. Good times for the country.
As we go back real quick to the triple threat, I was having some connection issues a second ago, but with the triple threat, as of the minute, the plan is for night 2 of WrestleMania, and if I say as of the minute, this has been the case for months and months, is for just Roman versus Brock, 1-on-1. So I don't know where Seth's going to come into it, but also with in regards to the Heyman thing, originally what it was going to be is at the Rumble, Heyman was going to screw Reigns and then go back with Lesnar. Of course, then COVID and all that, it's completely screwed up. So I don't know if there was going to be another screw job again then or not. I don't know. So I have no idea why they keep changing it. But obviously, they had to get the title off one of them, and they thought they didn't want to end Reigns' long title one, I presume. So they instead decided to take the title off Brock, and the only way they could do that is by having a screw job. And I guess I'm going to be honest. I still don't think Heyman was needed necessarily in it, but that's the way they went. I think, Reigns just doing it himself would have been fine. But, yeah, that's the way they went with it. As for Seth, I have no idea what's next for him. I'm guessing they'll be doing Reigns versus Rollins again at Elimination Chamber. But also, this is another thing as well. I don't think as of a week ago, Brock was meant to win the Rumble. I really don't, because the plan was for him to have a match at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, presumably an Elimination Chamber match to, win the opportunity to face Roman at Mania. So I have absolutely no idea what changed.
I think it's
baffled.
I think it's definitely due to day one. I got a feeling that most likely that the screw job was going to happen at day one, to possibly go to for him to side with Reigns, and then but I think because it's been so prolonged and the way he's been his main man, like he's been an actual advocate. Because I think the week prior to day one, there was a little tension between when Heyman was saying don't talk to Reigns that way, and Reigns kept on saying don't talk to Heyman that way, that kind of thing. So I think that if they pulled the trigger on that on day one, then it would make more sense. But because I think they prolonged it all the way till now, and then you just see Heyman screw Lesnar out of nowhere, basically, it kind of does it. It does feel kind of out of place. Like we all expected it, but just because we expected it doesn't make it feel any more, any more sense. It makes any more sense. So I think that's why people are just not really buying it. That's how I see it, really. So
I wonder if Vince Russo's back in creative.
Oh God! Imagine he's not even mentioned. He's just working in the closet. He's working in the closet.
Imagine we're seeing it right now on television. God damn it! All this shit's just crazy.
All these swerves.
Oh yes, you gotta love a swerve.
No, you'd be able to tell. I was watching when Russo was at his best, and this is nothing compared to what he put on paper. Look, the thing is that I don't have an issue, and a lot of people are talking about the redundancy as far as the main event at WrestleMania. That a lot of people, well, we're getting Brock and Roman. We might get Brock and Roman again. I don't have a problem if it's just one-on-one with Brock and Roman and Paul Heyman, because that's been the best story in the company for the past 6 months, other than what they were doing with Bobby Lashley. But I don't have an issue with that because, like I said, Brock Lesnar brings a legitimacy into WWE that really nobody else can or has in a while. And Roman Reigns' character has been off the charts ever since he came back and became champion. But there's the issue is no matter who, and I don't make it a triple threat. I'm not a big Drew McIntyre fan, and I don't think he is the future. But Roman, who are they going to build up into after WrestleMania? That's the question. There's nobody with any momentum. There's nobody in a hot streak right now. Nobody who's racked up some wins and some character building. That was the issue with last year's WrestleMania. Out on top last year, they pulled his jets and had him beat. The question is who we know the main events for, but who are they going to build for after? And I think there's that just goes back to what they're not building any stars. They're doing something with Austin Theory, who I really like, who has an astronomical amount of potential. But then again, he's winning, he's losing. He's in these hokey skits with Vince McMahon, who's senile and doesn't really know what he's doing or talking about. He's not the character that he was 25 years ago with Steve Austin. So it's just like they're just all over the place. And that's the thing is they're not getting anybody ready for WrestleMania, which is the whole point of the build to WrestleMania. Get your stars ready for after WrestleMania into the coming year.
Yeah. Well, one thing which is interesting as well is the plan is very much, right, if you ask anybody backstage, the plan, and it's not like fully worked out yet, so I mean, I won't be surprised if, something comes up for The Rock or whatever. The plan is firmly currently for next year's WrestleMania main event to be Reigns versus The Rock. That is firmly the plan for it, and presumably the title must be involved, right? So presumably either he'll hold the title until then, or Brock wins it at Mania, and then Reigns wins it back or something. If I was to guess, I'd have to guess that Reigns retains and takes it all the way to then. So what? 800-day reign?
Imagine.
I probably think it's gonna happen.
Get the shirts ready.
I mean, again, like you're saying, who's gonna build up to take it off him? It's gonna be a whole year of people were like, well, Reigns is obviously gonna win. Reigns is obviously gonna win. It's like this year. We didn't expect him to lose the title like once in any of these defenses, I don't think. Apart from, I guess, Lesnar. Some people speculate that he might win in their last match, so then Reigns would win it back. But no, that didn't happen. But yeah, they just gonna have nobody. I guess Drew. I guess they could have Reigns versus Drew at SummerSlam or something like that. But even though I reckon I think they'll pull the trick on that right after Mania. But it's going to be another year of just, it's predictable. Reigns is going to win. Reigns is going to win. Reigns is going to win.
I mean, I know they want to run this as much as possible because obviously this is what they've always wanted back from when they pushed Reigns as a single star, where everyone actually, you know, he's getting a reaction out of people, probably the right reaction, and he's selling merch, all this kind of stuff. He's doing what they were planning him to do instead of back then when they were just shoving him down our throats. So that is possible. They could because right now he's up there with the top 4 now. Is it Bob Backlund, San Martino, Hulk Hogan, and the other guy? So you know they could try to do that, but I don't know. I think that is risky because that might be oversaturation. You know, I don't think many people are that tired of him yet. But if for another year, that's a bit much to ask. I don't know. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I could handle that. You know what I mean? But I think go on.
I like long title runs. There's no issue with it. The issue is that who you put in front of him until then.
Yeah,
and that's what they're not doing. They're not building any stars. They've got rid of. They gave all their stars in NXT to AEW.
Yep.
And the way AEW is handling them is another discussion for another time. But they gave all their stars to AEW. So, I mean, who's left? You got, Braun Breaker within the next year or so. They're probably going to want to rush him up there, and it's going to be too quick for him. He's got to let everybody in NXT right now. NXT is an indie promotion within WWE. The guys there are just too green, not ready for prime time yet. But they're probably going to rush guys up there because they're like, we've gone through our whole roster. Roman's beat everybody, or Brock's beat or whatever case is going to be. But it's not there's no issue with having a long title reign. Nowadays, there's because it's the instant gratification culture where, we're getting bored here. We need something different. So they, shoot from the hip and they title. The title becomes a prop, doesn't really mean anything anymore, yada, yada, yada. There we go. I don't have a problem as an old wrestling fan having a long title reign. It's the challenges you put in front champion, and if they have good, meaningful storytelling and matches, just like back in the 80s with Ric Flair and the long title runs he had, and Hogan and the big monsters in the 80s that they put in front of him, is you just got to have a good line of opponents lined up. And right now, they don't have any. Damien Priest is another one. He's U.S. champion. He's hot and cold. Austin, he's hot and cold. Big E, they've cooled his jet, which I'm not disappointed at. I think the Big E is extremely overrated and shouldn't even be on TV. He shouldn't even be on NXT 2.0.
Wait, who is that? Who? AJ Styles? Who said that?
Big E.
Big E, not on TV.
You don't like Big E?
Hey, let's kick his ass.
Okay, well, obviously you guys haven't been paying attention to me and Mixie, but I think the New Day is just the most embarrassing, pathetic thing that's ever reached WWE TV.
Wow.
Probably in history.
Wow. Okay, I missed that topic.
It's
Fuck
just
me.
awful. Unicorn riding, cereal throwing, pancake stuffing down your ass. It's just embarrassing.
I think I'm gonna need another 2 drinks.
Okay. That's gonna be another conversation another day. I'm very curious about that one. Oh my goodness. All right, cool. So let me just run through the comments. So someone says, I'd have AJ Styles win the title at Chamber and have Edge versus Styles for the title at Mania. Yeah, but that's not gonna happen.
I think it might. They have absolutely no idea currently as to what they're going to do with Lashley. They have no match. I don't even think they want Lashley in the main event. It's because the 2 pitches they've had have been the 2 pitches they've had were Rollins and KO, and then Rollins and Big E. They're the 2 pitches they've had for what was going to be Night 1 WrestleMania main event. And of course, now Bobby Lashley's got the title. The plan was for Styles versus Edge at Mania. So at this point, I wouldn't be surprised. But
It's going to be Veer. Watch it, guys. Veer's going to do it.
Send
Veer's
Veer.
gonna get it. They send Veer. Yes.
honestly, at this point, it's the best
Who's
move.
gonna
How
be-
on earth, for your main title, do you not know what you're doing with it at your biggest show of the year, less than 2 months before it's going to happen? It's an absolute embarrassment, quite frankly.
100%.
Well, that just makes too much sense because who's going to be mad if okay, well, to that comment, who's going to be mad if AJ Styles wins the title or even becomes the number one contender at Elimination Chamber? Nobody's going to be mad at that. And then Bobby Lashley versus AJ Styles. I mean, that's something different, something that I don't think we've seen. Maybe they've had a match a few years ago or something on Raw or maybe like that. But it's fresh. Nobody remembers. AJ can go. Bobby Lashley can go. A great matchup. Two great talents. Two individuals look like grown men with athletic ability that have been champions. It looks like a fight. That's like something you can put marquee. That's something that'll sell a WrestleMania. But it makes too much sense. So, of course, they're not going to do it.
Yeah, of course, exactly. Of course, they're not gonna do it. Okay, so all right, so that was quite an in-depth analysis of the pay-per-view. So let's just go into all the individual matches. So so the first match of the card was, of course, Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins for the Universal Championship. Now I'll just go off by saying, am I safe to say that this match was pretty good up until the finish?
Yeah.
It was the best match on the card up until the finish.
Yes, 110%. Yeah. It was back and forth. I love the thing that with obviously Seth Rollins with the entrance and with the Shield music. Awesome, very nice touch. Do you think that it was a bit too much of Reigns going off, like making out that he's getting into his head too much? Considering now he's been like, God mode. Oh, do you think that was it was a necessary level?
I think it was necessary because they've been like, this Blood Brothers things for that whole time. They're really popular as the Shield, and obviously Rollins was the one that turned heel and hit him with the chair, which we saw a reference to tonight. So I think, it's fair enough. It's like, seeing your friend who's been away for years comes back in the same exact attire. You'd be a bit freaked out.
Yeah, I think it was a good attempt at good psychology. I think it was successful coming out with the old theme music, the gear, and then everybody knows that John Moxley's been in the limelight lately with him coming back and his return with AEW. They referenced him a couple times on the pay-per-view at the beginning when Seth was making his entrance. So I think from a psychology standpoint, it was a great match. Seth Rollins sold very well. Both men did absolutely tremendous. It was a good match up until, like I said, up until the finish, and then we get shenanigans. Why? Because we gotta have a good matchup, or we gotta have something to please the Saudi king or whoever in Saudi Arabia. We gotta have a good match. We gotta have a good match there. But up until the finish, I think it was easily the best match on the card. Good psychology, good selling, good facials. Like they were really. It was a really competitive match. Each man tried to win when they could. So yes, it was easily the best match on the show. Great job by both individuals, and of course, we can't blame them for the finish. Who came up with the finish? Who knows, Vince or whoever? But I mean, it's just to me, this match needed a finish. It needed a clean finish, and we needed a fresh opponent for Roman Reigns at Saudi Arabia.
100%.
If I had to pick the finish for this match, which would have called back in the Shield, I would have had Roman Reigns hit Seth Rollins with the paradigm shift, John Moxley's finisher.
Oh wow. Okay, that would be interesting. I would agree with that. I mean, I would definitely love a clean finish. With them actually recounting the paradigm shift. What was it called in the WWE? 30 Deeds. Like, that was a double underhook, wasn't it? It wasn't exactly like
it wasn't elevated.
Yeah, that would be interesting, but the finish should have been clean. If anything, maybe when Seth was reaching out to do the fist bump, he probably should have pretended to do it, and then either Bulldog choked him to submission, or or just a devastating spear of somewhat. That's a clean finish. I don't see what. So you're saying that they're most likely going to rematch at the Elimination Chamber in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, they are. That's where I believe that's where they're headed. But this is the thing. This is the thing that's most upsetting is it wouldn't have hurt Seth Rollins one iota. Like nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like his character, nothing would have been affected if Seth Rollins would have just taken a clean pin in the middle of the ring. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Right? Because Seth Rollins is one of the top talents, in the organization, in the company, proven, formal champion, list of accolades a mile long. Nothing. We wouldn't have been hurt way whatsoever. He's on fire. He had a lot of momentum coming in here with his character, the visionary, the psychologist he's trying to be in the ring. Wouldn't have hurt him one iota if he would have gotten pinned in the middle of the ring. That's what's the most upsetting. They could have beat him clean and wouldn't have affected anything.
Yeah. Agreed. This is chat back on the comments. Someone said, I would rather see Big E versus Ignacio in a no-holds barred match. What the fuck?
Yes.
That's so annoying. Okay. Ignacio would take Big E. Come on, he would knock the crap out of him. Come on now. Well,
I won't say anything. Just leave my comments there. Just
he'll keep his moveset hidden.
I'm not trying to get us kicked off YouTube or Instagram or FCC violations or anything or whatever.
We're PG, folks, for the kiddies.
Think of the children. Okay, so basically, so overall on that match, Wrestling Republic, or should I, has basically reviewed that match as 4 out of 5 stars.
Yeah.
Would you guys agree with that? I take Ignacio strongly doesn't agree. But
I would.
Oh, okay. No. Oh, okay. No, never mind. Yes, I do agree. I'm sorry. I still have Big E in my head. I'm sorry. Look, I maybe because look, they had a great match, but look, it's just like I said before. You can have a good build, you can have a good match, which is they had a moderate build, they had a good match, but I mean, it didn't really set the world on fire or anything. I would give it 3.25.
3.25. Okay, cool. Fair enough. Yeah, I'd say about 4.5. Obviously, luckily the finish wasn't like Rollins and Fiend level for it to diminish it completely. But let us never speak of that again. But yeah, it was overall the match itself helped it like carry it and just slightly tarnished by the finish. That's what I can say on that.
It would have actually been a perfect finish if it was like, I don't know, like a day one level pay-per-view where they were then building to a rematch at like the Royal Rumble or something like that. But it's just the fact that, it was at the Royal Rumble. But it was, if this was building to a rematch between the two at like a big pay-per-view, it would have actually, it would have done the job well because, Seth's in the head of Roman and then maybe it's a no DQ match. So now, will Roman be able to, contain himself, or is Seth too much in his head? But
100%. But we move on. It is what it is right now. So yeah, of course, Roman retained on that one. Next match was, of course, the women's Royal Rumble match.
Oh, here we fucking go.
Oh God. Okay, so this one was a bit of a doozy. This one was a bit of a doozy for me. Okay, so first off, I must admit it's a real shame that they announced Sasha Banks before the Rumble, the day before. Like, why couldn't that have been a nice surprise? Now, obviously, the second entrant was, of course, Melina. Boy, did she have a good run.
That's the way WWE treats their ladies, folks.
My word, what the fuck happened there? That was. I mean, she looked good. It was all good. Done little poses, and then one move like a knee strike, and then she gets thrown out. I'm trying to like say, okay, maybe it was a botch, but I watched it. It
wasn't.
I don't know.
I like to say that's a representation of the women's division during Divas era. One move and finish.
Yep.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, look, I'll say this. I've seen Melina wrestle within the last year. She comes a lot to Texas to wrestle for a Dallas promotion, and she can still go. Absolutely. If you've seen her matches at the NWA, she can still go. And if you ever had, you ever have a chance to meet her in person, the absolute best wrestling personality that I've met in person out of all the meets, because she'll engage with you, she'll talk to you. Very nice individual, very nice person. Does a lot for the wrestling community. So yes, but yeah, that's just the way WWE treats their legends. Poof, she's out. Entrance and she's out. They just wiped their feet on her, and I don't.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she, as soon as she went backstage, there was a bin bag with all her stuff in it, just saying, "Here you go, off you go."
It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing, but I mean, she got a good payday out of it. That's all it really meant to her. That's it.
The thing that I found weird is they obviously they didn't announce Sasha. Sorry, they did announce Sasha the night before. They then had her return in the Rumble. She went for a bit, but then she got eliminated like halfway through. And it was like a really weird elimination too. It wasn't anything which would set up a big storyline anyway. Nope. I don't think. And it's like, well, what's the point? And then the weirdest thing was after the match, after a couple matches after the match, they then had like a 3-minute promo package hyping up her.
I was expecting her to be like, Sasha's retiring or Sasha's moving to another brand. It was just out of nowhere. What the fuck was that?
It was like, sorry we eliminated you, but here's a promo package to make up for it. That was...
What the fuck was that?
That was, I don't know, that was really weird. They could have thrown any other package, but that was, it didn't make sense. But yeah, okay, so that was obviously a highlight. There was some decent, not surprises, but there was some nice, appearances, so to speak. Obviously, we got to see Ivory in her right to censor gimmick,
which was great. I thought that was great.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Like she got eliminated whilst doing a promo, which was hilarious. Rhea Ripley, I think she had a good run at certain points. She was cool. Bianca, who was it? I'm kind of tired. Who was the Iron Woman in this match? Was it? I was gonna say Sasha, but then Bianca Belair was in there for quite a while.
Charlotte. I think Charlotte was in there for they said for 48 minutes.
Yeah,
48 minutes. Right. Okay. Fair enough.
I honestly thought the MVP was Tamina because of how often I saw her on the screen.
Oh Jesus Christ! At least she didn't like bump for thin air, like she did on Raw the other night. That was.
I mean, Chaos. What do you think about our favorite women's wrestler, Nikki Ash, and her attacking Molly Holly? Because she's a super.
Can you guys finish this off for me, please?
We're done. We're done for today, lads.
That was embarrassing. This whole character is embarrassing. It's just, oh God.
I'll
say one thing. I'll say probably a big disappointment for me in the Rumble, and I understand she's probably injured, and I don't know the severity of her injury because she's still recovering. But one disappointment was because the Royal Rumble's a match where you can minimize mobility and not have them do too much moving around. But if she would have made an appearance, I would have had her win. Was Bayley?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
Or Asuka.
No, Asuka. Where's Asuka at? Is she injured?
Yeah. That's where we meet. She's got an arm injury.
According to the dirt sheets, Paige, Kyrie Sane, Asuka, and Bayley were all supposed to appear, but none of them did.
Oh, I think the dirt sheets were just playing universe mode and got confused.
Instead, we got.
I've honestly, Fightful Select, WrestlingNews.co, Dave Meltzer, and several others as well. I've never had such a nightmare of a night in their lives. It was one thing after another they were getting wrong. It was just...
I bet Vince was just reading them and was like, fuck you guys, I'm changing the script.
Why don't
Fightful showed the show's lineup like an hour before the show, like they do every week. They get it right like every week, and it was completely wrong. It was like,
Jesus.
Unless they just completely... Well, they probably did. They probably did just, completely change the lineup last minute knowing WWE.
Just shit the bed, like, fuck.
But instead we got cosplay queen Selena Vega. We got Knight's Tale or Mask's Tale, whatever, Carmella. We got two cosplay children dressed like superheroes and Molly Holly. And I love Molly Holly.
Surprise. Sarah Logan was a surprise for all of 30 seconds before she was just flung out.
Yeah.
If this leads to the Bella Twins versus Liv Morgan and Sarah, it's not going to. And if it did, then that would be good. Considering you got a decent mid card storyline in the women's division, and that was from this Rumble, And they could have quite a few decent mid-card storylines for the women, which would, have a lot of sense behind them. And it built up a lot of potential storylines really well. That's what this Rumble did do. But they're not going to, go ahead with any of them.
I mean, what about Cameron reappearing and then just getting eliminated by Sonya and then not even having interaction with Naomi, who, like,
Sonya,
their shit.
I would
rather
rather
the racist head honcho, basically. I don't know. I would love to know what her agenda is with Naomi, but it doesn't look
Do we
healthy.
even know why they're feuding or they hate each other?
It's racist. That's why.
It's just racist. Just racist. Sonya took a trip to the south and was just like, haha, learned some abilities here.
Well, going back to just real quick to the Bellas, I would rather, I don't know what y'all call them over there in the UK, but I would rather lick the floor of a brothel than watch the Bellas on TV again.
You basically mean a church.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Wait, what did you say, Ben?
I said it's more like a church. That's what our churches are like up in Scotland.
Oh, okay. I thought you thought that's what a church was in America.
I'm just
Praise
uncultured.
God.
Uncultured.
You have a nasty surprise when you walked in.
Oh, I'm here for Sunday church. Oh, fuck.
Praise God and the whole. Wow, this took a left turn.
So I want to mention something. Keyword. I did not point this out. It was my girlfriend who was watching it with me. I mentioned this to you, Chaos. She nudged me and said, "That girl on the side." I was like, "Oh yeah, her tits hanging out."
Yes. Apparently,
I look up and Charlotte's left tit is just hanging out while she's on the apron.
She is like the queen of wardrobe malfunction. Do you know how often her shit comes out? It's ridiculous. That's insane.
Yeah, highlight of the Rumble.
Highlight of the Rumble. So yeah, there was obviously I felt there was some wasted spots in there for sure. There was no need for Summer Rae, no need for Kitty Kelly, no need for Molly Holly. I think those could have easily gone to Kairi Sane, Trish Stratus, finally, meeting
Io
in the Rumble.
Shirai.
Or what about people from
Shirai.
NXT 2.0? Mandy Rose, Toxic Attraction.
Mandy Rose.
All those guys just not getting. Like, was this
Yeah,
like the first Rumble where we never saw any NXT talent?
Yeah, it was.
Which shows a clear sign of the company's view of the brand.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was really, there was quite a few wasted spots, but the most important spot came out, which was she was number 29. Was she number 29?
28 or 7, I thought it was.
Yeah, I think it was 28, 29. Yeah, which is obviously the return of Ronda Rousey, who's been largely rumored to be showing up at the Rumble, either during it or afterwards. A big clue was that her makeup artist was booked for the whole month or whatever it was afterwards. So yeah, so she came, she returned, looked good as always. For me personally, I feel like she's quite a refreshing face to, she was great during her first run. Obviously people kind of got tired of her near the end of it, but yeah, but she's definitely one of the best people to have ever transitioned from, the world of MMA into wrestling. And and she carried that title flawlessly, in my opinion. Yeah, she did a good showing. Eliminated who did she eliminate? She eliminated someone nasty as well. Was it who was it was doing a handstand and then they fell flat on their face? Someone was doing a handstand on the side of the ring, and then someone kicked them in the back of the head and they just fell flat on their face. I can't remember what I think.
Naomi, maybe?
No, it wasn't Naomi, because Naomi got screwed over by the racist. But anyway, yeah, it was good back and forth. But then ultimately, it was the last two was between Charlotte and Ronda Rousey, and ultimately Ronda Rousey eliminated Charlotte. Do you feel like Charlotte does it very? She tries her hardest not to make her look weak, make herself look weak. She didn't it wasn't like a typical elimination. Like she fell on her feet and then she was like all screaming out. It wasn't like your normal eliminations.
Well, there was a lot of eliminations like that. That's what I'm saying. The finish, that was the worst Royal Rumble finish I've seen until later on, until the men's Royal Rumble match. And that's the worst finish that I've ever seen. But it was flat, as they say, flatter than a plate full of piss. It was just like, it was nothing. Charlotte went out with a pump kick, right? And then she just grabbed her and just kind of gingerly, softly threw her over the top.
That's what I'm saying.
And Miss Flair just landed on her feet. Like, what the fuck? No dramatic ending. No, standoff between the final four or whatever have you, or nothing. It was just blah.
I honestly think champions should be barred from entering the Rumble.
Yeah. Well, look, and they did the same thing with Brock, I think a couple of years ago, where he entered the Rumble and he was
2020,
champ. I wasn't so much against it because it was something a little bit fresh. Now, if you're going to do that, you should have had her win, and then she picks her opponent for WrestleMania. Somebody she deems worthy of giving her a 5-star match at WrestleMania or what have you. But since they didn't do that,
even make it work with Elimination Chamber, have like the final 4 that were before her go into the chamber. So sort of like continuing on from the Rumble. Like, hey, you got that far in the Rumble, you got another chance at the chamber.
Yeah. Something to that effect. But I mean, it's just the finish was flat. The storytelling was flat. The match was flat. By far the worst women's Royal Rumble. One of the worst Royal Rumbles like ever in history. Probably the worst. And then the men's came later, and then that was the worst.
Yeah. I will say, though, how did you guys feel about Mickie James being treated and represented in the Rumble? Obviously being
I thought she was done well.
I mean, it was worrying at the beginning. I mean, she's like, she was going to get pummeled. But
I honestly thought someone was going to get out the ring and stamp on the belt.
Something,
Just do some dumb shit like that. Like, here we go.
Well, it's just like kind of like me and Mason discussed. It's just was just much to do about nothing. I mean, somebody when the Royal Rumble was coming around, it's not like Vince McMahon said, "Oh, Mickie James, got to bring her back, pal," or whatever the fuck. It was just somebody hey, let's call Mickie back. Let's give her a payday. Let's show
it was more
sympathy. Yeah, whatever. And then it's not like Impact next week's gonna have 1 million viewers on their 4th-rate TV network or whatever that they're gonna have. So they don't think much of Impact. It was much to do about nothing. It was a favor to her. But I mean, she did have a good showing. Mickie James was not going to go for anything. We're not going to go for any shenanigans or anything. Mm-hmm. That's for sure. She wasn't going to get embarrassed, right?
Yeah.
Or she wouldn't even have agreed to do it. And so, it's like they gave Impact some recognition, whatever. And I knew they were going to have some kind of confrontation with Lita. They got a big history. So it was she put on a good show. She always does. So she did very well.
I did like Corey Graves' little comment after she got eliminated for like, "Oh, thanks for coming and making an impact."
Yeah,
I didn't even catch that.
The one thing though, which nobody's really picked up on, is the fact that WWE didn't call it the right name when they announced it or when on the graphic. It's the Impact Knockout Championship.
Oh yeah, they called it
the Impact Women's Championship and everything.
Oh, I did not even call that. Okay, that's Impact and stuff. But okay, I didn't really look at it that close.
I'm not sure how Impact feel about that, but.
Well, it just goes back to reaffirm that they're just they didn't really care. There's nothing about nothing because and that was a good point, Ben, because you know how they're very stringent as far as important to detail on everything WWE is, but they didn't think it was important enough to even mention it or get it right. So,
yeah, 100%. They don't give two shits about it. It was just they just wanted to get out of the way. They obviously don't consider Impact as champion. I mean. So whatever. I'm champion competition. Sorry. Yeah, idiots. But yeah. So overall, like, what was your predictions, by the way, to actually win? Probably not like who would you wanted to win?
Mine was Ronda.
Yours was Ronda. Soul, what was yours?
Lita,
yeah. My one was going to be either Lita or returning Bailey. Ignacio.
I think when me and Beeks discussed it a couple. I think mine was a returning Bailey, or Charlotte Flair.
Or Charlotte Flair. Okay, fair enough.
I thought yours. Soul on the Instagram yesterday. It's CM Punk.
Oh yes, of course, definitely CM Punk. And I wasn't using a little word called sarcasm. because every number since 2014 has been, CM Punk's going to come back. It's going to be at number 30. We're going to hear cult personality again. It's going to be good times. Yeah, no shit. Sarcasm, guys.
You literally put in the message, not in the message, in the think post we did, that's what we're meant to say around the Rumble, right? Blatantly being sarcastic.
Yes.
Not a single person in the comment section realized you were being sarcastic and was like,
there was one person who commented
idiot?
like, this is the disgrace to wrestling. This person actually thinks CM Punk's going to be in the Rumble. What an embarrassment.
Oh my god.
God.
Go sit in the corner. Like, just tell him to go sit in the
Sit in
corner.
the corner, boy.
Shut up.
Fuck now.
Let me raise. I'm sorry.
What was you gonna say?
Let me raise a question here. That now going forward, we know Ronda's probably gonna 99% sure she's gonna challenge Becky for the title. Now let's go the other way. Who's lined up for Charlotte Flair?
Well, apparently from the dirt sheet, it's the other way around. They're saying that
Ronda's going for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Ronda's going to be on SmackDown.
Yeah, she's actually going for the SmackDown. Yeah, because apparently her dates are actually going to be for SmackDown. She's going to be aligned to SmackDown. Charlotte has been pitching for her against Ronda for months, and they're probably going to give it to her.
Because there's nobody else for her to beat, or nobody. There's no other marquee name for her to try to get the main event at Wrestle. If it's going to be okay, then I'll go the other way. If it's going to be Ronda and Charlotte, then that's going to main event night one of WrestleMania.
See, here's something I wonder though: how does USA Network feel about this? Because they've got Brock. Yeah. Brock's going to be with Roman on SmackDown, and Charlotte and Ronda are going to be on SmackDown. Raw's kind of got fucked over.
They have, and it's not even just in that, right? It's not even just that SmackDown have got all the biggest stars. We've spoken about this earlier on as well. They've got no plans for the WWE Championship as of right now at WrestleMania. They have no plans for the Raw Women's Championship at WrestleMania. They're thinking, maybe we throw it back to Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair again. They have absolutely no plans for any Raw storylines as of right now. If I was USA, I'd be fuming for the money that they're paying for the show.
Think about it, though. USA has been absolutely screwed over. They were promised a third brand with NXT, which has just basically been turned into a shit highlight show. And then Raw has just been like 3 hours of crap, which it's been for the last couple of years. I would be absolutely fuming. Like, I've paid you this good money for all this shit. Give me better content.
But it's not Fox money. It's not Fox money.
It's not Fox fuck you money.
I know. I reported it a few months ago that WWE they want Disney to buy them. That's the option. They want to buy them, and they want to try and get the deal done, soon enough. But I have said, recently that there were some rumors and stuff after the Disney Plus deal that this confirms it. It doesn't confirm it. We've confirmed that it is just them testing the waters, expanding into Indonesia. It's got nothing to do with Disney really, and it's not actually, even though it's on Disney Plus, that's not who the actual deal's with. It's with Star or something like that.
Star. So Star is like international thing for Disney Plus, where they just show shows from ABC and everything. Yeah.
So that's who the deal's actually with. So it doesn't mean necessarily that, long-term things happening with Disney or anything like that. But this just proves to me now that they must be going after that Disney deal more than the NBC deal, because NBC are interested in buying. But
so what you're saying is we can get Undertaker in the Disney parks, just walking around signing autographs.
For fuck's sake.
Yes.
If
a Disney comes out, Tombstone's goofy, good days. Let's go.
I'll say this, right? A Disney deal, Disney buying WWE would be the best thing that's ever happened to the company, right? It's way better than the NBC deal. No. You're not like Disney aren't going to touch the well, they aren't gonna thingy the product or anything like that. But what they will do is they will be stricter with booking. So if I say Vince is making decisions like they're currently doing now with Vince's team, they'd be gone. Mm-hmm. It's not even Mickey Mouse isn't going to be turning up and all that, right? It's just like Marvel. Like Mickey Mouse isn't turning up on Marvel when he owns, they own Marvel and all that. It's not going to change WWE at all in terms of that. But what it will do is their business will do a lot better, because obviously it's Disney. Nobody can beat them in marketing. The booking, if there's any issues with booking or ratings or whatever, people will be fired, and they will bring in better bookers and all that shit. It's not going to slide. That's what that's what it comes down to. It's not going to slide. Shit's not going to slide anymore. So honestly, a Disney deal would be fantastic if NBC bought the company, which still could happen. I mean, it's clearly the fact that they're not giving a shit about Raw and NXT, and the fact that obviously WWE have done great sales for Peacock so far, but Peacock is 1.1 billion in debt. It's been a complete failure. But it's yeah, I mean, it must be that they want the Disney deal over the NBC deal, and honestly, I don't blame them, because Disney would ensure the future of the company, whereas NBC would, maybe not want to tread on WWE's toes, even when they own WWE.
Yeah.
This is gonna be fun.
Well, the thing is that look, the more people, and I get you made a good point, Ben, about as far as like the other trademarks or companies or intellectual property that Disney has purchased along the way, Marvel and so forth. They've kept those entities separate as far as like the cartoons and the Marvel over here. Not we don't see Winnie the Pooh or Mickey Mouse and Marvel or anything like that. But WWE's it's different. It's a live event. Throughout the year, sports entertainment, sports like product. So this is the thing: is if it did happen, will they leave Vince McMahon in place or have Triple H take over, and that becomes less and less likely as we go on, or bring in Shane McMahon or whoever, Stephanie. The thing is now you have a company overseeing your company, and this is what happened to WCW back in the day, is that little by little they're going to start getting more non-wrestling people involved in the product that they think are good ideas and good for the company and good for the product. And reality is you get more non-wrestling people involved in the wrestling product quality, and WWE's product quality is down now. It's just going to get worse, and they're going to try to break off and do other things within WWE that I think is going to bring down the product, minimize it, much like maybe do fucking comic books or movies or some bullshit. Now you have your talent. Now you have your talent focused on other things. You have creative people focused on other things. You have non-wrestling people making wrestling decisions, which they already have. They have Nick Khan, who is a non-wrestling person making wrestling decisions. That is part of the problem of these releases and creative issues that they're having, is because they have a non-wrestling person in a high-ranking position making wrestling decisions.
Yeah, that is very true. To be fair, Nick Khan, a lot of people aren't realizing this. Nick Khan is a lifelong wrestling fan. He used to watch it with The Rock back in the day, right? Him and The Rock used to go to events together. As children they used, but yeah, I mean, Nick Khan obviously with the release and stuff, it's because that they want to focus on younger stars and develop new ones, and then save the money for the sale. Right? That's what Nick Khan's doing. He's just getting the company ready for a sale. But currently, you have two sides of WWE, and this has been the way for the last 5 or so years, right? At minimum. So you have one side, which is the business side of the company, right? Yeah. And you have the other side, which is the booking side of the company. Now, the booking side of the company basically reports to the business side of the company. If Disney or anybody, for that matter, would buy the company, then it would be the exact same as now, but the business side of the company would be, the business side of the company would be probably still Nick Khan. But it would be Nick Khan, then reports to one higher, to Disney or whatever, and just keeps the reports, reporting to them so they're happy. If then the higher ups aren't happy, and then believe then they report the instructions down, and then that gets sorted like that. It's not going to be a huge difference, and it's pretty much guaranteed. Right? Whoever buys them, the booking of the company will not change, at least instantly. Maybe if they're not happy with how the booking's going, they'll get other people in. But it's not going to be those executives who don't know much about wrestling making those decisions. It'll be like an interview process or whatever. Or let's say, Paul Heyman, sure, he's got this experience, blah, blah, blah. Here's Eric Bischoff with this much experience, right? Hopefully that won't happen. But you get my point, right? That's how it would go.
That's it.
Fair play.
Now let's go into the best match of the night. Woo!
Of course. So the next match of the night was, of course, Becky Lynch versus Doudrop for
this fucking sucked.
Hold your horses, bro.
I'm sorry, but I just gotta say it as it is.
This one, this one is another one that was quite divisive in terms of part of the thing. To be honest, whilst this match was on, I was playing Call of Duty at the same time, so I wasn't really that tuned in with this. But
popcorn
the thing
match.
is, definitely a popcorn match. but apparently it had its moments, but it was also marred in the arena because a certain logo decided to catch a blaze, and they had to evacuate a huge portion of the arena, and most of the fans were just looking towards that. And of course, that was the WrestleMania logo after the power went off when Ronda was doing the whole pointy thing that they love to do, which looks freaking awkward at most times, which I hate. And yeah, shortly afterwards, the whole thing caught a blaze.
Well, you see, Chaos, that's just the wrestlers warning the fans the sign's going to explode.
Fire! Fire over there!
He's just pointing at the sign. Oh, fuck.
It's a fire, guys. It's a fire.
No, you idiots. Fucking move. There's a fire over there.
Hey, wrestler points.
So yeah,
I was watching this film, Scary Movie. I presume some of you, have any of you guys seen it?
Hell yeah.
And some girls on the stage like doing acting, and she's like, "My boyfriend's been murdered." And they're all saying, "Oh, what a great job!" And he's actually been murdered.
This is Oscar worthy.
Legendary scene. So I don't remember much of this match. All I remember was a lot of times it looked like Doudrop was doing the same move again and again. She was bouncing off the ropes and doing splashes, half of the time missing them, half of the time hitting them. It was kind of weird. But yeah, Soul, would you please divulge into why you think this match sucked? Capital letters, please.
Well, I mean, this match, the match was just much ado about nothing. Like I said, when's the last time you heard Becky Lynch being in a popcorn match, right? Exactly. It just shows, Doudrop. I don't know how much popularity she has in the UK or whatever, but I mean, it's just like she's still green, even though she was on NXT UK, whatever, what have you. She didn't have a lot of steam or momentum behind her. It was just a filler match. Somebody to toss the Becky in between now Saudi Arabia and WrestleMania, and they wanted to do something different. She tried to do the best she could, and it was an okay match. They didn't set the world on fire. It was uneventful, not entertaining, lackluster. Doudrop's got a lot of work as far as perfecting her craft, if you want to call it that, the being a big girl wrestler, wrestling a big girl, big person style. Becky sold her ass off, did her best with what she had. So yeah, can't totally blame her. She was trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, like we say here. And it just was what it was. It was a bathroom break match, popcorn match, and it's just a shame that you have to call a Becky Lynch match a popcorn match or a bathroom break match. It's just fucking terrible.
100%. I think the booking was all over the place. But then again, if your story is on Raw, then you kind of like shit out of luck, to be honest. This thing was just the build-up was non-existent. It was just Doudrop keep complaining, give me a match, and all this stuff. And like, but why is she not dropping this fucking name? Now, what's wrong with Piper Niven? There's nothing wrong with that.
Mate, I'm always surprised Vince didn't call her haggis or some shit like that.
Oh my god! It's it's absolutely freaking ridiculous. It's absolutely irritating. But either way, quickly just summarizing it. Yeah, Becky retained. Also, Ben, what was your thoughts on the match? Do you think otherwise?
No, it was just boring. It was okay for what it was. But the fact of the matter was, the crowd wasn't into it, and when a crowd's not into it, especially when the crowd was super into everything else, it just feels a lot shitter than it actually is. The sign was on fire. Nobody gave a shit. It wasn't anything great to begin with.
Everyone enjoyed the sparkly
Doudrop, as her name's Doudrop. And it's a shame because she's such a good wrestler.
She is.
But that's when it comes down to it at the end of the day. Shit Raw booking once again. I'm constantly reminded why I don't watch the show, and I haven't done in 18 months.
You do much better than me. I still put myself through it. I don't know why I do it. I'm just a fool. But I mean, in terms of ratings, you was pretty, even though it was shit, you gave it a 2 out of 5, 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, it's because again, like the actual match wasn't shit. It was just the fundamentals were fine. So I don't have it up here right now what we actually gave it per category on the graphic, but yeah, no, the fundamentals were fine behind it. Becky Lynch did a good job in trying to get the crowd going. It was just the crowd wasn't into it, and it was nothing special. So it wasn't like this was some awful match, right? There's been a lot of worse matches, even on pay-per-views this year. But it's just the fact that the crowd, well, not this year, last year, but it was just the fact the crowd weren't into it, and it was the one match of the card as well, which nobody particularly cared about.
This should have just been a Raw match.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, 100%. It would have been a throwaway episode match for sure.
I'm fair enough. Ben, do you not just give it a star for the sign exploding for excitement? Boost up the ratings of it.
It was that good. It just melted the whole flipping sign. Oh my goodness. Moving swiftly on. So the next matchup was, of course, Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. Now, Ignacio, would you want to give your thoughts on this match?
Well, just like everybody else, I was particularly excited for this one. This was the match that I was really excited to see and looking forward to see, that I've been wanting to see for a very long time. So everybody knows, as far as WWE, their production value and all that stuff, and those vignettes and montages they put together highlighting each superstar. Mm-hmm. This was phenomenal because they gave a little bit of background as far as Bobby Lashley, how he grew up, his amateur wrestling background, his military wrestling background, his Bellator and MMA background. They went around, they did the same thing for Brock. The build was good, better than anything on this card, better than anything they've had in a while, as far as building the match to have like that big fight feel, which was everybody wanted and everybody was excited for, because this match, just putting the two names together, had a big fight feel, because you have two legitimate badasses and superstars who made it, quote unquote, in the real fighting world. Were very successful. I didn't know Lashley had a tremendous record of 15-2, I think they said. And then Lesnar, a couple of times UFC heavyweight champion or what have you. So that was exciting in itself. And then the bell rang. and the match. Look, it wasn't a bad match. It was okay. I think just what Brock and Bobby would have done, it would have benefited, was probably get together a couple of house show matches, which we know with Brock and it's not going to happen, but they needed to get a feel for each other first, right? Which was a lot of the talents do now. They usually have like a house show run, whatever. They get comfortable, they put the match on pay-per-view or on TV or whatever. I think if that would have happened, the match would have been a lot better, of course. But it was just, to me, it was subpar. A lot of big power moves, the power spots with Lashley spearing Lesnar through the wall or with a barricade or what have you. We knew we were going to see that. We knew we were going to see the suplexes. It just, the buildup was so good. It just kind of just, for me, fell flat, kind of subpar. It could have been better. It had a lot of potential. This had a lot of potential to be a really good main event match at WrestleMania, but it just wasn't as big. And then the finish came, and then that just turned it into a steaming turd. It's just like, I give it. It's just disappointing. I give it. If you were going to give it a star rating, I'd give it like 2.5 out of 5, because it's just, wow. It just had the potential to be more with who you had in it. I love Brock Lesnar because of the legitimacy he brings to the product in the industry. I love Bobby Lashley because of the legitimacy he brings to the product in the industry. But I just think, I think it was that lack of just kind of clashes. They're just not comfortable with each other in the ring, and that's why it didn't move as fluid as it should have.
Yeah, Brock's always better with smaller guys as well.
Sure, yes.
Well, let's see Goldberg. I mean, like he's had some good 2 bangers like with Goldberg. So true. 2 out of 3 bangers. But he's I can see where you're coming from in that aspect. To me, I was in terms of the finish, I was predicting either in this match or in Reigns versus Seth, there was going to be an interference with someone was going to lose their title out of one of them two, for it to eventually end up being Reigns and Lesnar at Mania. So I was expecting that. Do I think that it was the right call to do it in Brock's match? Maybe, maybe not. Simply because of the turn with Heyman, because it's so prolonged, then there seems to be like a synergy, or like they're they're besties, only for Heyman to turn on him. It just doesn't really sit well with me. If it happened at day one, that would have been fine with that, but not in this one. But yeah, I would say that this way it started off pretty hard hitting at the beginning. I think, but didn't Lashley get speared through the barricade? Wasn't there a point?
I think Lesnar got speared by Lashley.
Oh, did he miss? I think he missed.
Lesnar, missed. Yeah, he missed because Lesnar moved out the way.
Yeah. So yeah, there was obviously the screwy ref bumps and all of that stuff, and the Reigns comes takes over. But
another ref bump.
I thought it was terrible.
Gotta love a ref bump. But to be fair, like WWE is kind of toned down on those. You don't really see that much.
If I never see one again, it'd be a week too soon. I never see another fucking ref bump again. Why don't they hire bigger refs? What the fuck?
And they got to make the refs look small against the wrestlers. They can't have a ref towering over Brock, like just picks him up and puts him in the corner. Like, no.
I need to say,
it's believable. Fuck, look at UFC. UFC had Big John McCarthy, who was bigger than half the guys that fought in the UFC at the earlier years. I mean, it's believable. The worst thing is when they have a female referee in a woman's match, in a male guy's match.
One thing I definitely kind of messed up the ending as well is obviously when the ref bump happened and then Reigns came in. Like the next ref came in whilst Reigns was still in there. He could have easily, disqualified them. Like, why? What? You saw what happened. Like, why is Reigns in there? You know what happened? Why did you just disqualify them? But the ref was still going on.
Just Reigns puts his hands up, like, oh no, mate.
I'm just a tourist.
I thought this was a good match. I want to get front row seats. Bring the immersive action. I wasn't doing anything.
They just send refs like nobody's in the back. None of the refs are watching in the back. They just hey, get out there.
It's like a conveyor belt. They just shoving them out.
They're just knocked out. Vince takes off a flip flop, slaps him across the face, and like you're required.
That's so ridiculous. But fair enough. Yeah, that match was. I thought it was pretty decent. At the time, maybe because I was half tired, I was like, yeah, I'm loving this finish with Heyman turning on him, like I was expecting it. But now since I've given it time, I'm just like, yeah, maybe it doesn't really set right. But yeah, that was my thoughts on that. What about you, Ben? What was your thoughts on the match, Ben?
The main issue I had was the fact that they were no selling at the start. Like they were like they took multiple suplexes and they were like not even like thingy. But I'm like, yeah, okay, they're two big guys, but it would still, maybe they'll get up after a few seconds, but no selling it. It's ridiculous. It completely kills the legitimacy of the move.
And coming from two guys who are supposed to be legitimate amateur wrestling badasses, no selling suplexes the first 4 minutes of the match or whatever it was. It's just it didn't live up to the hype, and that's not necessarily the talent's fault. It's creative booking, what they wanted them to do or whatever. And Brock does have some leverage or some say so on what he can do and what he can't do in his matches. He's just decided not to exercise it here for whatever reason.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna be like, because sometimes he does have some leverage on who he wants to like bump for, and there's quite a few people that you'd be surprised that he bumps for, unless you're Dean Ambrose. But for this one, the chemistry wasn't quite there. Maybe they didn't need to have a house show or two, but obviously they ain't gonna do that. Wrestling Republic rated this match 4 out of 5 stars. So that's quite debatable. Fair enough.
You can see the criteria we broke it down what it scored on, but the facts are the actual thing that it got scored down on was it only lost 0.25 because of the ending. It lost 0.5 because of the no selling at the start.
Right.
That's actually what really harmed the match. If they actually were selling from the start and all that and made it more of a legitimate fight, it might have actually scored higher.
Okay, no, I get that. Yeah, I do see fundamentals. You scored a 1-star, atmosphere 1-star, storytelling 1-star, psychology 0.5. Yeah, so yeah, I see what you mean. What you're getting there. Okay, fair enough. So obviously after Reigns' interference, obviously Lashley wins and is now a 2-time WWE champion. Well deserved, I might add. I have no qualms with this. He was my prediction to win 110%. So glad he's definitely, we're back into the almighty era, so to speak. Now who he's going to face, fuck knows. Like you said, they have got no clue. Madcap Moss, fuck off.
Lashley versus Via bucket, and it'll genuinely be more
Yes.
over than any of the other
It's gonna
opponents.
be in Saudi, and the prince is gonna stand up and be like, "My people, I bring you Veer," and it's gonna be like the biggest hype shit ever.
Via just comes down from the sky like Shawn Michaels.
It's like Shawn Michaels at
WrestleMania,
25.
yeah.
It's like, yes, my people. Oh,
Via has been sent.
Oh my god.
let's just gonna do a shot for Veer.
It's just apple juice, by the way, YouTube. Just apple juice.
This apple juice. Yeah, of course. We don't do that kind of madness here. This is
Yeah, just sour apple juice. That's all.
Yeah, for the kids. For the kids, get that vitamin C.
Okay, so moving on to the next match, which is of course the It couple versus the Grit couple, and that was of course Edge and Beth Phoenix against Miz and my second bae Maurice.
We called this chaos for the Rumble a few weeks back.
Yes, we did. What did we say?
We said that this match would either happen at the Rumble or Mania.
Yes, yeah, we did. Yeah. And yeah, so true. Even though this match should probably never happen, because in essence, like Edge and Beth has been winning like week after week, maybe not in matches, but in the the segments that they've been doing, like they covered them in blood. One week they wrecked their wedding celebration. There was only one time that Miz and Maurice got the upper hand, was with the brick in the handbag, which was so random but hilarious. And then they obviously spoiler alert, they won the match. Edge and Beth.
I mean, to be fair to Maurice, Chaos, have you seen a woman's handbag? There's so much shit in that thing.
I know. I guess, but I mean, goddamn.
You never know.
To be fair, it's probably more believable than their title belts.
Touche.
But yeah, this match, I don't think it belonged in the co-main event. I must say, I mean, but it was enjoyable. It was nice to see Maurice do a Hurricanrana. Still got it, it was cool.
You still got it.
Yeah, still got it. Even though, yeah, she's hella rusty, but yeah, she still had it.
I didn't think she did still have it, to be honest, but
never had it.
I mean, Chaos knows I'm a Miz and Maurice fan because I watch Miz and Mrs.
Yeah, you should keep that to yourself, bro. Joking. Ignacio, what was your thoughts on this match, on the co-main of Royal Rumble?
I hate these people. I hate intergender matches, tag team intergender matches. I'm ashamed of Edge. I'm ashamed of Beth Phoenix.
Jesus.
I'm ashamed of The Miz. I couldn't care for Maurice. This was embarrassing. It's humiliating. Doesn't belong on TV. I don't want to see Edge in another match ever again.
Wow, it's gone to the point where Edge has been exiled. Oh my goodness,
bro! We're gonna get this.
The definition of just
on Monday Night Raw.
The definition of just collecting a paycheck. That's it. Probably got $500,000 for this match.
So wait, did you not like the Edge versus Miz match then, or the Crown Jewel match with Seth?
No, I don't like any of these people. I want them to go away.
Wait, you didn't like the Hell in the Cell match with Seth Rollins?
That's what I said. He said no. He doesn't rate that one at Crown Jewel.
I thought it was fantastic. I didn't really like the Miz match, to be honest, but I really liked the Hell in the Cell match.
I liked Edge a year ago. Last year's WrestleMania. I don't like Edge since for the past 6 months or whatever.
So 3 months. He won the Rumble.
Correct. No. Since last year's WrestleMania.
Oh, right. Okay, got it. Okay.
By the way, I'll just add this in there. Like, say what you want about Christian and his AEW run, but Christian is just phenomenal in the ring. Edge is just looks like a broken down, grizzled old man or whatever. Like, wow. He probably massages himself in Ben Gay before every match.
Chaos, you might want to restrict the comments. There's going to be a surge.
I want the surge, man. Fuck it. I'm done. Yeah, this guy is bringing us views. I like it. It's cool. Fair enough. Yeah, this match could have not been. This could have been throwaway on Raw, or put at the beginning of the show, or even the pre-show. Like put on the kickoff. Like they always need a match on there, so they could have put that one on there. Couldn't care less for this one. Again, this was another one I was playing Call of Duty Warzone whilst watching. And I mean, it's good to see Beth still got it. I would love to see another run. I'd say I think she's still got what it takes to go for one more run in the roster. Not a title run. Calm down. Not a title run, but another wrestling run nonetheless. But yeah, what did Wrestling Republic rate this match? This one was rated 3 out of 5.
I think 0.5.
Fucking mercy.
0.5 on the fundamentals. 0.5 on the atmosphere. Yeah, the crowd was kind of half dead. Storytelling 0.75. That's debatable.
No, there was a story there.
Where?
But like they over the last few weeks they had been telling the story, right? It wasn't like it was just completely.
Oh yeah, I
pointless.
get that.
We knew what was happening.
Yeah,
but it was just nothing. It did its job. It told the story it needed to, and it did have a good build behind it, and the match made sense in terms of that. But it wasn't anything too special. Yeah. And then the fundamentals, some of. I don't ever like to specifically, target, I guess, wrestlers or whatever. But Maurice, some of her selling and stuff, it wasn't up to par.
Oh yeah, definitely not. 110%.
God, I feel bad for thinking this was my most anticipated match of the night.
So
I said to you, Chaos, that Edge versus Miz was my match of the night at day one.
Yes, it was. Yeah. And then now you kind of wish you never said that now, ain't it?
Well, that's what this is for. Forgetful juice.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody's asking, is anyone reading the room? What?
What the who's saying that?
On Instagram.
Oh, is anyone reading the room? Fuck knows what's going on.
The room was Tommy Wiseau, the best dramatic piece of cinema in all of history.
I did not do it. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark. Okay, so moving on to, of course, the main event that everyone's been waiting for, and that is, of course, the 30-man Royal Rumble.
Let's just take a moment to actually look at that picture. Who on that picture screams star to you?
That's exactly what I have in mind. Other than AJ Styles,
AJ and Randy
Orton, even
See,
Bobby Roode.
Omos came into this Rumble, by the way, when he entered, looking like an absolute star, and he was making all this shit after a couple of minutes. It was just, I thought we were going to give him, good 10, not 10, but 5 to 10 eliminations. He was going in like a couple of minutes.
So, Ben, this is basically a great Khali situation.
No, he was thinking of Braun Strowman. He wants Braun Strowman treatment. Omos is nowhere near Braun Strowman's level, even though
he isn't. But when he came out, he was looking, like I say, he entered the Rumble. He was towering over everyone in it until I think it was Damien Priest. But actually, was it?
This guy is so green. I'll never forget. I was watching the episode of Raw, and I think he was facing a jobber, and he loudly kept on saying, "You want to do the hype thing? You want to do the hype thing?" And he kept on doing this thing, he was so loud. He just doesn't know what he's doing in the ring. So yeah, I'm me personally, I'm still not sold on Omos, but
no, he's not. I still wish he was doing, the karate kicks. Like, that's what I thought I thought he was gonna, bring in the ninja gimmick type. Like, and this isn't even me joking. I thought that he was gonna do he was gonna be like a big guy, but he'd do some of those kicks he did before. Because it's nothing like any of the big guys have done in recent you didn't see Braun Strowman, Khali throwing these big kicks or anything like that, or Big Show. I thought they'd make him stand out tons, but no, they're just giving him the generic moveset.
The closest you're gonna get to a ninja moveset is Tozawa. That's all you're gonna get. So that's taken.
I can't believe this guy was a ninja and now he's just like.
But his kicks were good as a ninja as well. Like,
Well, he's not a ninja anymore now, so he loses the kicks. It's like Pokemon. You learn a move, you forget it.
Yeah. So wait, who was number one? Okay, so wait, this is dial back a bit. So yeah, AJ was number one, and then who was number two? Shinsuke was number two. Yeah, so this was underwhelming. That was
yes.
It was
Shinsuke Nakamura, your intercontinental title, who's not been defended for donkeys.
Jesus.
It was as underwhelming as their WrestleMania match. What was it, 4 years ago or what have you?
What have they done to my boy?
What
have they done to my boy, man? This is why that what have they done to this baby, man? Anyway, so yeah, that happened. Nothing really much happened when it was just them two, and then there was a lot of wasted slots in this Rumble, I must say as well. There was a lot of people
so many tag teams.
So many tag teams. I mean, it's like, why is tag teams in this? Like, you got your own lane. Why are you coming over here? I mean, obviously, I think the only standouts briefly was maybe Montez Ford, but that was about it. I
thought Austin Theory was going to do more.
Yeah. He was meant to. He was meant to originally be in the last 5, but as of a few days ago, according to Sean Ross app, they changed how they wanted to do it because Vince wasn't happy with it. No. And that's why Austin Theory didn't go really towards the end. But that's why they were making such a huge deal of the fact that he'd been in it for 20 minutes when he got eliminated, because they still wanted to, try and get him over a bit. But originally he was meant to go much further.
Released in 6 months.
This was just, this probably the worst Royal Rumble I've ever seen. I mean, it was just bad, from poor management of the talent as far as, entrance and exits and lackluster eliminations. You have Johnny fucking Knoxville in it, which is fucking embarrassing. Bad Bunny, humiliating.
Bad Bunny was hard.
Bad Bunny
was lit. He was good. Like, he's better than Johnny Knoxville.
He gives celebrities a good rep when it comes to wrestling.
Bad Bunny was there.
The farther you keep celebrities away, the better. Bad Bunny is it's embarrassing. It's humiliating. It doesn't belong in there. It makes people think that anybody can do this stuff. I don't care how much time you put at the Performance Center. Celebrities from the peripheral are good, but in the ring competing with these guys, it's awful. I don't care to see any of these people again if it's involved with Bad Bunny. That's where I lost my favor with Damien Priest, rubbing elbows with Bad Bunny. It's disgusting. Leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Jesus, it's just this thing was just bad. Johnny Knoxville, like a jackass. Like his name describes, or the name of his movie or show or what have you. Nobody was highlighted really in this match, other than who? No
one really.
Randy had a good run. Randy had a good run.
Randy. That dude got taken out. The thing is, I actually forgot that he was the hometown guy, and then as soon as I found that out, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Why did they going to make?
But I mean, look at nobody was really highlighted. Not even Drew McIntyre. What did Drew McIntyre do? He came in. I mean, nobody was really highlighted. Nobody remember who lasted the longest. It was just a clusterfuck, and then we get to the end. Everything was just building to getting Brock Lesnar in there and having him do what he did and just winning the match. It was probably the most lackluster, non-creative Royal Rumble.
What I will say though, what did you guys think of the Kofi botch?
Yeah, that was hilarious. Like,
at least they recognized it.
Yeah,
mate, that's even worse than Undertaker's streak ending. Kofi's spot at Royal Rumble ending. Sad.
Yeah. I got a feeling that they're probably gonna roll back on that now. They ain't gonna do that anymore, because that was like, that was obviously not part of the plan. And
I reckon they'll do the exact same spot next year.
Yeah,
I think so.
I think he's gonna beg them that he does the exact same thing and gets it right.
Yeah.
If he gets it wrong, he's done.
I hate to disappoint the Wrestling Republic viewers and fans, but I gotta sign off. But it's been great dealing with you guys. I apologize. I gotta leave early. I gotta go meet the Undertaker.
No,
fair play. No worries, man. Well, thank you for joining us, Ignacio, man.
Yes, sir.
Don't be a stranger.
Safe.
Yeah, you take care, bro. Take care. Okay, and just like the Royal Rumble, and then there were 3. Right. So,
Right, let's talk about Big E.
He really is. Ignacio really is about to go and meet the Undertaker as well.
I don't even know. But if he does, then at the
He
end,
really is.
get me a side. Wait, actually,
I don't know how he does this, but yeah, he is really going to meet the Undertaker right now.
wow. Okay.
Wait, Ignacio versus the Undertaker in a boneyard match. He's coming back. Yes.
But yeah, what were we talking about? Yeah, there was no one really highlighted in this thing. I think the only people that I thought was gonna have a decent run were like AJ Styles, which he did. I think he was technically the Iron Man in the match. KO got screwed over. I thought he was going to be at least in the final.
That was my
four.
pick. No, sorry. The Wrestling Public viewers actually thought I was going to pick CM Punk. So yeah, of course.
Stick to that. And I think the only people I think the one person that we actually, or the 2 people that actually had a decent run was, unfortunately, Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss, because they eliminated quite a few people, didn't they? I think they eliminated like 5 people.
They were fucking pulling house.
Yeah. That was a bit annoying.
I'll say this, right? One of my friends from school who I used to watch wrestling with as a kid, right? He was actually in this chat earlier on, but I don't know if he's still here or not. But he doesn't really watch WWE anymore or whatever. And I wake up this morning, right, to a message from him saying, "I hate the WWE." And I just open it. I'm like, what? And it's the thing of Brock winning. And the amount of casual fans, they don't want to see, and especially Brock's meant to be the face in this storyline with Roman. They don't want to see him winning the Royal Rumble.
No.
You didn't need it. They could have done anyone. They could have defined another way for it to end up being what they're dying for everyone to see, which is Reigns versus Lesnar. But he could have went to anyone. There was all these possible interactions that never happened, like with the Mysterios. Dominic got eliminated first before even, or was it Rey? No, it was Ray. It was Dominic that got eliminated first.
I thought this was going to lead to like a Ray or Dominic heel turn, because haven't they been eliminated on SmackDown?
I want that so much. Why are they not doing this shit? It's jarring.
Just Mysterio's gonna go over like, Dominic, I wish Eddie was your father, and it's like, oh shit, it's like this relation to the past kind of
Dominic
shit.
has to be the heel. He has to be the heel. He's not likable enough.
Oh.
Who, Dominic?
No, he's not likable enough.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, but it would be a good feud, and then it will actually drive the sales for 2K22.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. If they did right, because that's the thing, Dominic's working to get the mask and all that. If if he turns heel on his dad, and this could have been the way to do it. It's got to be that way. It can't be the other way around, right? Because nobody's just going to be cheering for Dominic. And even once Ray retires, I don't, unless something big happens before that. I think people are going to get sick of Dominic quite easily, right? But him as a heel, I think that might be what he needs.
Yes.
Maybe they still don't think he's ready, but heel with the mask and all that, retiring his father, he could be, he could be a badass heel. He really could be.
100%. I mean, how often can you say that? Like, your own son retired you. Like, come on. That's good booking right there. If done correctly, of course.
I would like it if Dominic, like, a Mania match, career versus mask. Dominic takes Mysterio's mask and wears it like some sort of, like, freaky, like, tears off the skin sort of shit. Like, I have your face.
That's what Ray said they're going to do. Like, Ray's kind of already spot the storyline in a way. He said that the way he's going to retire is Dominic's going to beat him for the mask.
Mm.
And then Dominic's going to keep the mask. And that's how he's going to get, that's how the mask is going to be passed on. But
I mean, who knows? Maybe Dominic's going to come out with a balaclava or some sort of stuff like that. And it's like, ooh, that's his new name. So it's a balaclava.
But yeah, there were so many wasted spots. Like you said, the thing that really ruined it is because there was the lack of star power, and there was no major surprises. I think the only one that was that it was like, oh, okay, cool, was Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
I would have said Shane McMahon.
Shane, but no one wants to see. Why is he in it? No one's going to believe that
he's the daddy's boy. Daddy's boy's got to obviously show up. And
I mean, he already took the best in the world, and that's all he needs. You don't need to be in the Rumble. If you're that great, then you don't need to be in the Rumble to prove that. It's just fuck off, man.
The thing that annoyed me as well was Bad Bunny. He was a big surprise. and yet they posted him on social media with Undertaker 2 hours before the show. Like,
Yeah, I was literally scrolling through BT Sports, which is like, oh, here's Bad Bunny and Taker at the Rumble. It's like, all right, cool, fuck, all right, that's the problem. Fuck.
That's not even know. It's like they are just desperate for a lot of eyes on the product. Like if you're that confident in your product, you wouldn't have to spoil stuff. That's it. Imagine if AEW flipping said, "Oh, Adam Cole's backstage at All Out. Like I wonder what he's doing here," and then you show like, why? Like why do it's just dumb.
Imagine that. Adam Cole's you backstage. What's he gonna do?
Or like how Ian Russell was introduced when he came to Raw. Like in a backstage segment, just Tony Khan is talking to Jerry Lynn, and then Cole walks in. It's like, oh shit, it's Adam Cole, baby.
and then Bryan Danielson walks in directly behind him straight away. He's like, no. It's like just John Morrison
back here.
The John Morrison return a couple of years ago. They open a door, he's in a locker room, and you're like,
100%.
Do it this way.
Oh my god! I tell you what, though, when Bree mode hit, I actually woke up from a deep sleep because that song, I wanted to turn it off.
Wait, guys, sorry, 1 second. What is the lyric in the Bree mode song?
Oh, you mean Bree mode repeated 1,800 times?
No, but
wait, it has lyrics.
Yeah,
it has lyrics. What the fuck? I thought it was just Bree mode, like ping pong ball, literally.
No, because I always thought it was that stinks.
What? That's
who listens to Bree mode enough to learn the lyrics?
I'm trying to
find Ben wants to.
That stinks.
Ben, is this your ringtone? Are you just secretly a really big Bree mode fan? Your alarm's Bree mode, your alert tone's Bree mode. I bet your background in your phone is just Bree mode, and it's just like...
Okay, so what I thought was that stinks is bestie.
Bestie? Wait, bestie? Are you sure it's bestie?
Yeah.
Was it Nikki who told Bree she wished she died in the womb?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a real bestie.
Yeah.
That's
worst theme music ever.
It's catchy.
You're making me do shots of apple juice.
Purely apple juice.
God damn it.
Fucking hell. Yeah. Who's anticipating him to say like is Brie Bella husband of Daniel Bryan and father of John Lord? Who was expecting him to say that?
I was expecting him to say, "Oh, it's Brie Bella and nothing else." Or star of the Bella twins.
She did the yes chance as well.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I mean,
Vince was upon a gasket.
The reality is, and I've said it 100 times already, WWE, well, since Nick Khan's come in, they don't give a shit about AEW. And that is the reality. But they're not going to go their way to promote AEW or anything. But they aren't scared of them. They think that it's a different audience. They think it's a niche audience. And it's not that they think AEW is necessarily going to fail. That's not necessarily what they think. But they don't think that they're going to harm their market.
It's not going to harm them, but they are definitely melting down since for the past couple of weeks, Dynamite is beating Raw demographic. Like, and that's what they'll
love to see for. It. You'll love to see
it.
On
social media, though, it's on social media, which again is still the 18 to 4. Wait, what is 18 to 49? That's
18 to 39.
That's basically all the views on YouTube, right? And Raw is still outdrawing Dynamite massively on social media. So it's I don't think WWE are too concerned over that, and USA Network aren't concerned over views either. So I don't think they're in panic mode yet.
Not yet.
Keyword
yet. I mean, no. Let's just say for those viewers here, we're not saying that AEW is going to eventually topple WWE. That is the monolith. They will.
I'm certain it won't come anywhere near.
Ever happen? Ever? Just saying that. But when it comes to certain parts, obviously the demographics and ratings and stuff, that's where they're creeping up on.
There's no way we're never going to see Tony Khan appear on Raw and be like, "I bought my competition."
Yes. You probably messed it up. He's so hyper, man. He was just like,
and then Brian Cage will be in WWE and he'll get fired like Jeff Jarrett in WCW.
But I mean, what the thing with it is, AEW, the way that WWE looks at it is AEW's got a niche demographic. I don't know, and that's not a bad thing, right? Considering if you have a niche demographic who buys your merchandise, who watches every week, buys your pay-per-views and everything, that is 10 times more profitable, but so much more profitable than if you have a larger fan base, but they're not quite as hardcore. So having a smaller but hardcore demographic is work. It's a business model which works very well. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of the Nelk Boys, but it works perfectly for them. The amount of money they're in is insane, even though they don't earn a penny of monetization on YouTube. And obviously not quite to the Nelk Boys extent, but that's what AEW are trying to do. They're just trying to strengthen their fan base, make it very hardcore. Whereas WWE are trying to do appeal to the masses, and they're two very very different business models. And I mean, you almost can't really compare them, and that's why WWE are not concerned. They're not going to go out their way to ignore AEW stars or anything like that. They're also obviously not going to go out their way to promote them or anything like that either. But yeah, it's just they're two very different business models.
Yeah, 110%. For now, well, not for now. But yeah, that's where we are right now. So we're definitely not saying that WWE is going to go out of business. They're making too much. What's the term I heard? Scrooge McDuck money to be for AEW for them to be worried about AEW. But in terms of quality and what's on TV and what people are going towards, fuck social media, because there's a lot of weirdos on social media at the end of the day. Yeah, it's not looking good for WWE. But anyway, so regarding the that's finishing off with the Royal Rumble. Ultimately, number 30 came out. Brock Lesnar. I wonder how he got that number, because he doesn't have Paul Heyman by his side.
He did an Eddie Guerrero and he stole it off. I don't know.
Well, he stole it off Corey Graves. Corey Graves said it on Corey.
Oh yeah, what the hell was that? Corey Graves got cleared for in-ring competition, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's gonna come back." Nah. He
didn't get cleared. Him and Paige, to my knowledge, neither of them got cleared, but they just got both taken off the do not touch list.
Yeah.
But basically, so it means is Corey Graves, is allowed to do a roll-up pin, but it doesn't mean he can actually compete in the ring.
Fair enough. Still, though,
I don't know Corey Graves as a wrestler. Was he actually good, or was he?
He was all right. He was he was good. He was good, but he wasn't extraordinarily good.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Paige back in the ring.
Oh, I love.
Hell Paige. Yes. Paige here. Definitely.
Oh, it's gonna be watch Paige here, gonna be her next theme, and it's gonna be a competition. What's worse, Brie Mode or Paige here?
Paige here.
Man, I like to announce I'm handing in my resignation.
So ultimately, Brock Lesnar obviously just easily took out everyone in the Rumble, threw out Bad Bunny, threw out Kevin Owens, threw out Drew McIntyre took out Randy Orton, threw out Riddle, who I thought I would never see today because he can't stand Riddle. Pretty much just flung him like a piece of meat. That
was their match. That was their match. The Riddle.
That was the match. Yeah, that's the only match you're gonna get. David Bobby just let him gracefully just almost broke his ankles. Anyway, so yeah, Brock Lesnar won. Also pointed at the sign, which apparently made the thing go ablaze again.
It did.
Oh God!
They didn't fucking learn. They just carried on doing it. So,
we paid for the sign. Let's fucking blow it up.
Did you guys not see the stuff melting on top of the fans?
I've seen it on Twitter. Yeah,
I'm laughing about it now because nobody was hurt, but it looked so dangerous. Like it was melting on them. Like
yes, yeah.
Give him a DX T-shirt. You'll be fine. You'll be happy.
It's part DX T-shirts and glow sticks. Someone said, about the sign caught on fire. It's a big deal because it caused big problems and people will get hurt, and everyone doesn't want the sign to fall. Imagine if the sign fell.
Oh my God! I wonder. They would have stopped the show, right? They would have cancelled it out.
Hey, don't make me bring up a certain pay-per-view about a certain person, and it still carried on.
Oh, right.
I don't know if they would have done much damage, though, to be honest, because it's a bit hard. I think everyone would have been able to move out. Did you guys actually see the sign, though? It's 2 bits of cardboard, not cardboard, but
cardboard
type thing, stacked together,
steel beams
pyro in the middle of it.
Dude, you're telling me that everyone's got time to actually look up just in time for a drop to move out of the way, and when you're supposed to watch it, what's in front of you, bro?
Chaos. To be fair, they were watching the Becky Lynch and Doudrop match. They were probably looking at it.
Ronda was like, I tried telling you, I was pointing.
I'm pointing at the fucking sign, you dafties.
See, I told you my last run, the fans don't listen.
And then Dolph Ziggler walks out. It should have been me. This fucking company.
So yeah, Brock Lesnar, who's most likely going to go for Reigns, we all know, and then that was it, pretty much the end of it. No surprise endings or anything like that. Now, in terms of ratings, Wrestling Republic actually gave it a 2.5. That's fair. Pretty much on the ball. I agree with that. 2.5. Definitely underwhelming. The Women's Rumble was better. Not saying that it was the bee's knees, but it was better, 110%.
Yeah, if I had to watch one or another, I would have chosen the women's.
Somebody's just commented, I've just seen now, where did Ignacio go? Did Big E end his career?
Legend.
This is no joke, comrade. I don't even know. This is no joke. He's gone to meet the Undertaker, and that's not even bullshit.
Yeah,
he's only on his way to meet the Undertaker. But yeah.
Loser leaves, take it to the table. Fair enough.
I'll tell you what, though. If you guys had to pick a surprise entrance of anyone, who would you have chosen?
I would have chosen The Rock.
Fair dues. Ben, who would you have chosen?
What do you mean realistic? They could have done. Or...
Nah. Screw it. Fantasy booking. You've got unlimited options. Who would you choose?
John Moxley. Just because you know.
Oh my God! All right, don't shoot for the stars. Why don't you?
All right, I'll do use one better. I would have chose the Deathmatch King, Matt Cardona.
Ooh, that's a good shout.
I'd start an FMC chant. We would have rated the match 2 stars if he came in.
He would have entered with his spinner Universal GCW title, kicks everybody out, beats Roman, takes it to the Indies. Fuck yes.
Thing is, they could have gotten in. Obviously they didn't want to because they didn't want to help AEW in any way. They're not scared of them, but they don't want to help them in any way. But they could have gotten Jericho easily. They could have gotten Jericho. But I mean, honestly, I think it's possible they could have gotten Moxley for one night only thing. I reckon that would have been possible. I mean, he said it before, he'd return for the right amount of money. I think it's a one night thing, just to give him a bit of a pop. And they could even call him John Moxley because they've been calling him that on TV lately anyway.
They called him Mox as well, didn't he?
Yeah, they called him Mox during the Seth and Roman match.
Yeah, and they said Moxley last week as well.
Yeah, so you got it, yeah.
I mean, I think they could have done that, but obviously they don't want to help out AEW in any way.
See, if I was WWE and I was being smart booking, I would have picked someone from AEW whose contract's expiring and you wanted to test the waters if they would have worked well in the company.
MJF.
MJF, oh my God. Flipping AEW would throw the bank and then some to keep MJF right now. He's definitely going to go WWE at some point. He's definitely going to go to WWE at some point.
Well, there's interest. There's. I mean, I don't know how much I can say, but people within his team have inquired to WWE about a potential deal after it expires. But this was prior to the CM Punk feud. This was when he wasn't really doing much, and now obviously he's having a big feud with CM Punk. So who knows what's changed?
Yeah,
he needs to win that match on Friday.
Oh, he does.
Wednesday.
Really
does.
Yeah,
100%.
I want to see the Chicago fans throw trash in the ring. I want to see them riot.
Is it safe to say that Chicago is AEW's home? Because with WWE they have New York, and so it's safe to say that
I'd say Chicago. I maybe say
Hasn't
Chicago.
Every Chicago show sold out?
I don't know, but the AEW consider their home Jacksonville.
Oh, that's fair too with Daily Place.
That's for the pandemic. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have said that if it was pre-pandemic. Chicago obviously had all in.
Even TK was saying it because that's where they launched and everything. when they did the press conference.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. I don't know. I think that I just thought that obviously because when All In happened, the
that
before
was
AEW was
Chicago.
that was in Chicago. They had plenty of good moments before CM Punk showed up. Obviously CM Punk has obviously cemented that, and it keep going back there almost every damn week. So I'm like,
yeah,
I'm just like, fair
I
enough.
love Bailey's place. I love it.
Yeah, but yeah, fair enough. There was just a thought, but so yeah, overall,
Yeah.
regarding the Royal Rumble as a whole, out of 5, let's go with I usually do 10, so let's go out of 10. What would you rate it out of 10, Soul?
The whole show or just this Rumble?
This let's do it. Yeah, actually, yeah, do the Rumble. Do the Rumble out of 10. Yeah,
The Rumble 4.
4. Okay, fair enough. Ben said 2.5 out of 5, so
5. Yeah,
pretty much 5. Yeah, I'll say the same. I'll say the same. Below average. That'd be awkward. Just below average, 4.5 out of 10. But in terms of the whole pay-per-view, what would you rate out of 10?
The key thing I think here is obviously the worst Royal Rumble is the 2015 version. Was it worse than that? And I keep thinking, originally before going into this, I thought, no, it wasn't. But the more and more we've talked about it and went through it, there's a lot more than I don't like. I don't like a lot of the finishes. I don't like a lot of who was brought in. I don't like how they treated some people. So in that saying, I'm going to say that this whole Royal Rumble 2022 as a whole was a 4 out of 10.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I can agree with that. Fair enough. What about you, Ben?
So we originally gave 3.25, although I looked over the rating criteria and I thought we were a bit harsh around some things. So we ended up giving it 3.75. Because obviously, it's WWE, it's the production. There was a fantastic crowd in town. And there was good action in the night as well. There were some surprises. And I think as a show, it was definitely better than the 2015 show. But as the actual Rumble match, I think was a little bit worse. And well, then again, actually, you had that triple threat match at the 2015 show, didn't you?
Oh, well, Rollins and Lesnar and Cena.
Yeah. And that was a banger. So actually, maybe I retract that statement. But I thought, it wasn't a bad show. To be fair, it wasn't. But it was just there was a lot of bad on it. And the biggest point is the last 3 years, WWE have knocked it out of the park with the Royal Rumble. Absolutely knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
And then this year, there was, obviously it was a huge, stadium and all that. Everyone was hyped. It was fantastic on paper. And at the end of the day, they didn't deliver. And that's what it came down to. There's all these rumors and stuff, which the dirt sheet started with, seemingly no evidence, and people felt let down. Yeah.
I agree. Fair enough. Yeah, there was it's pretty much typical regarding this when it comes to Rumble season. The dirt sheets come up with all kinds of bullshit. So, and anything is possible, and it's not until near to it, like a few days or maybe a week before the Rumble, there's more solidified, more concrete details of who's going to be there and who's not. The only 2 people that was definitely pretty much confirmed for the Rumble, from what I saw, that was constantly going was Rousey and Bad Bunny. Those were the 2 that I saw that was pretty much concrete. No word of Bailey. No. Shane. Oh, you saw Shane as well? I didn't know about Shane.
Yeah, Shane, over the last 48 hours, he was...
The only ones I saw personally were Ronda, obviously was the big one, which I did an article on reporting it. And the other one I saw for the men's was Corey Graves, because I honestly thought, with him getting cleared, he was actually going to make something.
I think that was ringside.
Ringside. There we go. That's all you have to say.
I believe it was. Don't quote me on it. I shouldn't have said that on a stream because I'm not certain. But yeah.
Other than that, it was definitely. I don't think it was bad. There was some enjoyable moments. Obviously, there's some enjoyable matches, and then the ones that were below average, there was some decent moments within them, so it just about saves them. The women's Rumble was better, obviously, and the men's one was totally underwhelming, completely. Just took the wind out of everything and just ended it on a sour note. They didn't try to take any risks in or like logical things in certain matches. Definitely watered it down. But yeah, it's not to say that this was like the worst. So I don't think this is nowhere close worse to the 2015 Rumble, whether you're just talking about the match itself or the pay-per-view as a whole. So yeah, overall, I'll probably give this 1 out of 10. I'll go a little bit higher, so I'll give it about 5 out of 10.
Fair dues.
I would say
What I will say to you was interesting. Obviously, back in the day, you had to pay for pay-per-views on their own. You know, like how through Skybox Office.
Premium live events. Sorry.
That's it. If we worked in that way just now, do you think this pay-per-view in a whole would be worth that 20 or 30 quid price of admission?
No. Definitely not. I would be fuming. You know, what was that B-level pay? I mean, it wasn't like Stomping Ground levels, but
oh fuck.
Yeah, like I'll be absolutely god. But yeah, I wouldn't say it'd be for your money, like, but because it's the Rumble, because of the name, you would that's the name itself kind of warrants that kind of price in it. It doesn't mean, unfortunately, it doesn't mean you're going to get that kind of good quality that you expect it to. But go on.
I'm going to say something really controversial here.
Oh shit!
Not necessarily that this was a better show, but I would be less annoyed if I paid 25 quid for this than when I did pay 25 quid for. I think it was one of the AEW pay-per-views in the pandemic. I think it was All Out when it was in the pandemic.
Right.
That was honestly the biggest waste of money I've ever spent. It was absolute shite.
What was do you remember the match? Do you remember what match it was?
I think it was All Out. Maybe it was. I think it was All Out.
Was it All Out or Full Gear? Because I remember the card for Full Gear.
The Full Gear card was good. It was All Out. The crowd was dead for it. It was absolutely dead because of the heat.
Hold on, let me find out what this one. During the pandemic, yeah.
Yeah. It was All Out because I remember then Full Gear. I bounced back with FTR versus the Young Bucks. It was FTR versus Hangman and Omega. It went in like quite a while, like half an hour. It was the only good match on the card, really. But the crowd was completely dead for it. So it was like.
Wait, did you say it was FTR and Young Bucks?
No, FTR, not Young. FTR, Omega, Page.
Oh yeah, so it was that. Yeah, that definitely one. Oh, and John Moxley versus MJF. Yeah, Cassidy.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the Mimosa Mayhem match. Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah.
and the Broken Rules match between Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara.
And remember that it went all wrong, and they had to stop the match.
Yeah, that was awkward.
Was that when Matt Hardy had his concussion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was disaster after disaster, that show.
Yeah. Matt Cardona, this from Scorpio Sky, Natural Nightmares versus the Dark Order.
Oh, that was
Hikaru Shida versus Thunder Rosa. Lance Archer versus Eddie Kingston. I don't remember. Oh wait, no, Lance Archer won. Oh, he won the Casino Battle Royale. Okay. And then and they also had that god awful cinematic match between Big Swole and Britt Baker.
Oh yeah.
The tooth and nail match.
Office thing.
Yeah, the tooth and nail match. Yeah, okay.
Right, you know what? I may be an AEW fanboy, but then you've got a point.
Yeah, that wasn't the greatest. Yeah, fair enough. God, I can't remember the last time I spent money or. I mean, besides the $9.99, because obviously we all watch our shows legally, of course. Moving on. All in all, mediocre pay-per-view, bit boring. Royal Rumble, but it is what it is. We'll just see what happens, and I guess we'll have to look forward to Monday Night Raw tomorrow. So that's
fuck off.
We're gonna be doing a review on that. You better be there.
Oh, I'll be hungover. Can a Scotsman be hungover? That's a question.
Fair play.
Like, all I'm excited for this week, wrestling wise, is Wednesday. I want that MJF and Punk match.
Yes, 110%. That's
I'm worried for it. I really am, because if it's a mediocre match and Punk wins, I swear. I'll quickly say this right before we go. I think the way it should be done is MJF wins. MJF then wins the title off Hangman at Revolution, or I'd do it at Revolution, but maybe they'd give it a bit more time, whatever. Then I'd have MJF hold it until All Out in Chicago, and then I let Punk beat him again. I beat him for the title. So MJF then has had his first reign, and it's a few months long. Punk then wins it back in his hometown. Punk then has a bit of a reign with the title, and then Darby Allin ends up beating it for him, and it comes the full circle. And Patch, in that process, he put over MJF and Darby Allin. And MJF, even though he lost the title to him in the end, he got a title reign out of it. And he's young, he's a heel, he'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. I agree with all of that, Ben, but exclude the Darby and the Punk bit. What I would do is I would have a feud with Bryan and Punk, but obviously right now Bryan's a bit of a heel, right?
Yeah.
Do an Austin and Brett thing, switch them, make Bryan a face and Punk a heel out of that match. Then have Darby take the title off him.
Oh yeah, I'd have Punk be the heel for sure. But I think if you give him the title in 6 months' time, he'd be a heel anyway. I think fans would get sick of him.
Have you ever seen that thing of Punk?
On them a little,
Have you ever seen that thing that Punk did on the Indies where he was like holding like a fake microphone and he went up to a woman in the audience and she tried to speak into the microphone, which was obviously fake, and he just screams at the woman, "You dumb bitch, I'm not holding a microphone." I want him to do some of that shit again because he works great as a heel. I love Punk, but he's great as a babyface, but as a heel, he's exceptional.
Fair, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I can't wait to see a heel turn from CM Punk. Because I miss some of his antics. Even from when it comes to the mic, I don't know why, but the one that sticks out to my mind when he was feuding with Jeff Hardy, and I think he came out in his as
his face paint. Yeah, after Hardy got kicked off the company, or it was like a loser leave brand sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh no. So maybe not then. So probably just before then. But I remember he came out. I think Jeff Hardy was doing a promo, and then CM Punk came out and he was just about to speak, and then he just clocked him with the mic and he just beat the hell out of him. Didn't even bother to say a word. I was like, that's badass. I like that. No one really does that anymore. So yeah, bring back some of those simple yet effective antics as a heel for Punk, and then he can definitely have some high profile matches. Whether it's against Darby Allin, so he can get his revenge back, maybe get his win back from, back from All Out.
I think that would be good storytelling.
Yeah, it would be. And the story writes itself about Punk being a heel as well, because he could be like, I came back for the fans. You all demanded I came back. I've come back and you're already sick of me. You know, blah, 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 It writes itself. Like, at the very least, it's easy.
And the beautiful thing about it, I actually trust AEW for going through with it. Or to some point, like if maybe not all the way through, but for the majority of it, 110%. Unlike
if you were going to make it really, really good, I would love to see Punk turn up in this new form of Ring of Honor with the AEW Championship as a heel and just scoping out the competition of maybe like, maybe I'll jump ship and go somewhere else that's actually going to appreciate me.
Yeah.
And then we can get Punk versus Okada in New Japan. Fucking come on.
Okada wants a match with Triple H.
Wallad. You wallad.
Does Okada have internet access, or is he just not kept up with?
I don't know. I mean, I think Triple H will return one more match. I reckon he will.
Oh yeah, he's gonna do one more match. Fuck knows against who.
Chaos, he'll be against Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker's gonna break him in half and be like, yes, this is NXT 2.0 finally killing out.
You know what? That would be cool.
I wouldn't mind that. I think.
No, then we're fucking high. And then if we can get actually Braun Breaker side plates for the Euro shop, then I actually would be happy.
I'd be actually that story also writes itself, because obviously Triple H had that very memorable feud with Scott Steiner, so you could easily just write that in saying, look, I buried your, is that his uncle?
Well,
they're not related. They're not related.
No, he's not. Yeah. Steiner, he's Braun Breaker.
There we go. It's back. There we go. God damn it. I'm sad now. Fucking just right there. I fuck it up. Anyway, whatever. We have gone on a tangent. We've been on here for almost 2 hours. Not to say that's it's been dragging. It's been a very eventful conversation regarding this Royal Rumble. This is what we do. We take it to the table and vent our thoughts about this company, and there's certain things that they do. So, but yeah, That has been the Royal Rumble review. Thank you very much for everyone that's been watching, been commenting, leaving their thoughts in the comments as well. I'd like to, of course, thank my guests, Ben and Soul. Thank you very much for joining us on this glorious show.
Pleasure.
That's it. Before we go off the air, a quick thing. If you keep an eye on the Wrestling Republic Instagram page, you will see an unboxing and review of the Super 7 Series 1 New Japan Kazuchika Okada figure. So keep an eye.
That is a mouthful.
Yes, exactly. You know, I was trying not to stumble over my words and was going over it this entire 2 hours. So I have plenty of practice. So yeah, keep an eye on the Instagram. You'll see an unboxing of this little thing.
Of course. Yeah, for those that don't know, please make sure you follow us at Wrestling Republic on Instagram, as well as official_TITTT for the Take It to the Table page. And yeah, of course, I have been your host, Chaos. He has been Ben, the head honcho. He has been Soul, and of course, Ignacio as well. Thank you for joining us as well. Big shout out to Ignacio in the show. And yeah, until next time, guys, this has been Take It to the Table. Peace.
Let's close it with a shot.